A major lithium project, which includes a Thunder Bay processing facility, becomes the first to be fast-tracked by controversial new provincial legislation. Good evening. I'm Haley Perreault alongside Ryan Benazzo. Thank you for joining us. The province's largest lithium project, Frontier's PAC Lithium, is being accelerated by Ontario's new One Project, One Process framework.
That legislation was born out of the controversial Bill 5 that many Indigenous and environmental advocacy groups spent so much time fighting earlier this year. Joey Langdon joins us now in studio with more on that. Joey.
Thank you. The PAC Lithium project includes a mine and a mill north of Red Lake and a processing facility here in Thunder Bay on the former OPG property. But while the province and Frontier are celebrating the announcement, some Indigenous leaders are speaking out against it.
By announcing that Frontier Lithium and their PAC Lithium project will be the first project designated under the One Project, One Process vision.
Frontier Lithium's PAC Lithium project, with materials to be mined 175 kilometers north of Red Lake and processed in Thunder Bay, is the first to be approved under that controversial legislation, which the province says will help protect Ontario in the face of U.S. trade uncertainty. This will allow Frontier to begin construction much more quickly. CEO Trevor Walker says it's important to begin as quickly as possible.
Our PAC Lithium project, located within the traditional lands of Treaty 5 First Nations, hosts one of North America's highest grade, large-scale hard rock lithium resources. It will feed our proposed lithium conversion facility in Thunder Bay, one of Canada's first, and anchor a domestic mine-to-battery supply chain here in Ontario.
Be under no illusion, the Chinese, also the Australians, but the Chinese, play a massive role in dominating the lithium processing industry of the world. We've got to decouple dependence from regimes like that.
But NDP MPP Sol Memekwa was joined later in the day by Anishinaabe Aski Nation Grand Chief Bobby Narcisse and North Spirit Lake Chief Brandon Ray. They want the province to immediately halt the project, saying the One Project, One Process framework violates constitutional and international obligations to Indigenous peoples and weakens environmental protections.
We are especially alarmed that the company chosen to pilot this new process has never operated a mine before. Mining is not something you learn as you go. It carries real risks to water, to fish, to wildlife, and to the people.
Why does Chief have to come all the way from North Spirit with his council to be away from his community and his homelands to get that message across? You know, where's that respect in terms of having government come to his community and see what it's like living in his community, to actually see all these areas? All these decisions are being made here at Queen's Park.
The Ford government has repeatedly said that mineral development is one of its top priorities. Joey Langdon, TBT News.
The chief of Webequie First Nation was in Toronto today alongside Premier Doug Ford and Indigenous Affairs Minister Greg Rickford to sign a partnership deal with the province to speed up construction of a supply road to the Ring of Fire. Webequie is getting $40 million from Ontario to make that and other community projects happen.
During that press conference, the Premier also called on the U.S. Ambassador to Canada to apologize for a profanity-ridden exchange Pete Hoekstra reportedly had with Ontario's trade representative Dave Patterson over the province's now infamous anti-tariff ad. CTV's Siobhan Morris breaks it all down for us.
The U.S. ambassador's public dressing down of Ontario's point person in Washington doesn't sit well with the Premier.
It's unbecoming of an ambassador. I've never heard of this in my entire life.
Pete Hoekstra's anger over Ontario's anti-tariff ad featuring Ronald Reagan.
Come on, Ambassador. Pete, you got to call Dave up and apologize. It's simple. You know, the cheese slipped off the cracker. I get it. You're ticked off. But call the guy up. Because you're a good guy, and Dave's my champion.
Doug Ford defends the ad as his government signs a $40 million agreement with Webequie First Nation, another step to accessing the mineral-rich Ring of Fire.
It is focused in real terms to pre-position the community to build the Webequie Supply Road, a road or corridor access for the community to the Ring of Fire and points beyond.
The cash will build a community center with an arena, help with a burnt-out airport terminal, buy materials for road construction, and provide mental health supports. Webequie's chief says the deal will unlock new opportunities.
Making sure that our communities will
will prosper in the near future and that we address some of the issues that we have at our community level, including the well-being.
Work on the road to the Ring of Fire could begin as early as June, but it would require the federal government to drop its impact assessment. The province says it doubles up on work Webequie has already done.
Let's cooperate and let's get things done. I trust the Prime Minister. When he gives me his word, he keeps his word.
At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
A jury is now deliberating over the fatal stabbing of Darlene Giba back in summer of 2023 in her East Mary Street home. Giba's stepson, Cameron Adamko, is on trial for second-degree murder. His former girlfriend, Jonna Sonago, was also initially charged with second-degree murder, but pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of accessory after the fact late last year. Giba died from cuts to the neck, which both the Crown and the defense agreed were made by a yellow X-Acto knife found in a garbage bag of other evidence in Sonago's apartment. The jury heard closing submissions today at the Thunder Bay Courthouse. Crown lawyer David Pierce began by saying, "Well, there's no direct witness to tell what happened inside of Giba's home. The evidence overwhelmingly points to Adamko as the culprit." The defense acknowledged that Adamko was there, but contends it's unclear who killed Giba, adding it's up to the jury to decide if he's guilty of murder or manslaughter. Full details can be found on tbnewswatch.com.
A 70-year-old Shunya man faces child pornography charges. Ronald Anderson is accused of possessing and accessing child pornography after Thunder Bay police seized multiple electronic devices from a Lakeshore Drive home back in September. Anderson has been remanded into custody following a court appearance. Officers are asking anyone with information that may be useful to their investigation to contact them or Crime Stoppers.
The city's Standing Committee on Growth is endorsing a proposed natural gas generating plant for the intercity area.
The plant is intended to help meet Ontario's growing electricity needs, but climate change advocates at last night's meeting say the gap should be bridged with renewable energy. Jessica Clement reports.
Thunder Bay's Standing Committee on Growth has unanimously supported a proposed peaker energy plant by Alberta-based Versorium Energy, after a call from the Independent Electricity System Operator for projects to help meet Ontario's growing electricity needs. All committee members voted in favor, despite hearing from the group Citizens United for a Sustainable Planet. Paul Berger says battery energy storage projects could meet that demand without fossil fuels.
Pretending that we'll somehow need to buy dirty energy from the 20th century just totally defies logic. Battery energy storage systems will deal with future peak demand.
And Kira Essex of Indigenous Clean Energy questions Versorium's claim that the facility can later be converted to a hydrogen plant.
A 2025 study found that 96% of global hydrogen supply still requires or relies on fossil fuels, and its infrastructure is too underdeveloped for it to be implemented. There's also no track record for natural gas plants to be retrofitted for hydrogen in Ontario.
Councillors had some questions, like how much control the city will have to hold Versorium accountable for its promises.
The city's direct control over the project is mainly related to zoning bylaws and municipal regulations.
And if the city has considered alternatives.
Have we balanced this decision, the recommendation of administration to go forward with this project, with the renewable energies on the other side, like instead of going into the natural gas?
So it's a question of balancing need for power to considerations to do with climate change. And again, we are not the experts on that, but we do need to rely on the reality that IESO says that these sorts of peak power generation plants are necessary in the near term.
At-large councillor and chair Trevor Gertuga says he wants the matter to be discussed by City Council at large.
Us passing this tonight is only recommending it to go to City Council. And then that time will give us the opportunity to digest all the new information, the slide decks that we were going to be getting from presenters and do a little more homework ourselves.
The proposal will be brought to Council on Tuesday. Jessica Clement, TBT News.
A new fundraising campaign has been launched to help raise money to push Thunder Bay's indoor turf facility over the goal line.
The president of Soccer Northwest, who's been a vocal proponent of the facility, is putting his money where his mouth is, donating the first $10,000 to the effort. Ryan Graham explains.
4 local sports groups representing soccer, ultimate frisbee, football, and cricket have joined forces to create a new nonprofit organization, Let's All Play. The goal is to raise $100,000 from the public. Chair Michael Veneziali led the charge today with a personal $10,000 donation to kick off the group's Play It Forward fundraising campaign.
We're here and we're stepping up and we're ready to work. We really believe in this facility, not just for the users, but for the community. We've been saying that from the beginning. I truly believe that when this building is done, we're going to wonder how we lived without it.
Mayor Ken Boshkoff was also on hand for today's announcement to express his support and appreciation to the Let's All Play team.
Soccer and other sports groups that have been pushing for this facility have been really exemplifying perseverance and belief in the future of the city. And now we know it's real, it's going to happen, and let the fundraising and support begin because we're all behind it and we all know we need it. So this is going to be great not only for our city, but for the entire Northwest.
Veneziali says individuals or teams of up to 5 people can register to fundraise on the Let's All Play website, noting there are some cool prizes up for grabs. Ryan Graham, TBT News.
Thunder Bay's Memorial Avenue was originally named to honor the local residents who fought and died in World War I. And a new initiative is to remind people of that fact, and it's taking shape after some delays.
Banners honoring the fallen soldiers are now being raised along Memorial and other locations as a powerful tribute. Jaden Billick reports.
The Remembrance Day Memorial Banner Project, which pays tribute to the local heroes who have fought for our country, was spearheaded by the now defunct Clean, Green and Beautiful Committee alongside veterans from Port Arthur Branch 5 of the Royal Canadian Legion. Former Chair Stephen Marguerite says it's important to bring Memorial back to Memorial Avenue.
So this project came to Clean, Green and Beautiful in one of our meetings about 2 years ago. It was a great project. We were looking at fitting it into our budget, and then we created a working group to really find a partner, and luckily we found Branch 5 to work with and partner with this event, as it's a really great initiative to really honor the troops.
Memorial Avenue was first named back in 1926. 73 banners now serve as a powerful reminder of the soldiers whose legacy the roadway was named to honor. Here's Branch 5 First Vice President George Romick.
This is the first time the City of Thunder Bay has done this banner program. This has been done down in Southern Ontario with with the other communities down there, along with the branches down there. So I think it's going to be very nice to see these banners around. From the families that have authorized the banner to be put up, they think this is the greatest idea in a long time that the city has done. I think with them seeing the banners out there, they'll go along and say, "Well, geez, I know that family," or "I know about the individual up there," and stuff like that. And especially around Remembrance Day, it's remembering the ones, especially the ones that were killed in the line of service or wounded, and even for the ones that came back that had PTSD and other injuries in that.
And the goal for next year is to double the amount of banners. Councillor Rajni Agarwal says the more, the better.
The many streets we have in our city, let's line them all and as we need to go. First priority is Memorial Avenue in honor of Memorial Avenue and the history of Memorial Avenue.
Jaden Billick, TBT News.
Certainly a great reminder. Well, now we'll shift over to the weather, and Fiona, we are reminded once again today that we are luckier than we should be at this time of year when we look at the temperatures.
Yeah, we are once again averaging about 5 or 6 degrees above the normal, not only during the day, but also at night. Last night here in the city of Thunder Bay, we stayed above the freezing mark. We were at +1. We should be around -4. And today we topped out at 12. We should be closer to about 6. So we're being blessed, that's for sure, under partly cloudy skies for the most part, although it did start out pretty gray. And winds were relatively light, starting out in the morning, southwest, about 3 kilometers per hour. This afternoon, well, it rotated around a little bit to come from the east-southeast and increased about 10 kg, but it was still relatively light. for most of the day. Now, across the region last night, temperatures did slip below the freezing mark to -1 last night in Red Lake, and a little bit further eastward, they were around -4, clear skies, so nothing to hold in any of that daytime heating. But even those overnight lows are still above normal for this time of year. At this hour, we've got 5 in Red Lake, 6 in Pickle Lake, Sioux Lookout 7, all mostly cloudy. It clears off as you head further east into Greenstone, where they're currently sitting at 10 Celsius. Along the northeastern shores, we're once again into double digits for Wawa, Sault Ste. Marie, then just below in Marathon, they're at 9, 8 in Nipigon, and Fort Frances, a lot of cloud cover there. They had a very mild night, a low of 5 Celsius, but with all the cloud cover, they didn't warm up very much during the day, so they're currently at 8, and that's actually not too far off what they should be seeing for this time of year. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, we are looking at mostly cloudy skies tonight, and with a low of 2 being so mild, it's really not that much of a surprise without much wind to speak of, just 5K. We're going to see some fog patches develop sometime after midnight. Those fog patches are going to continue, but the winds are also going to be very, very light for the next little while. Systems moving through are going to be moving through very slowly. So the cool down that we are going to see heading into the weekend, it's going to be at a very leisurely pace. And skies are not really going to be moving around very much either. So status quo for the next couple days, and then it starts to cool down for the weekend.
Okay, well, that is all good news. We have certainly been spoiled, and a nice gradual cool down is what you'd like to see in October.